Good evening, Dubai. Hello to Alex Peterfreund and Ross Criel. How are things going in the United Arab Emirates?
Hello, London. This is Dubai calling.
Lovely to meet you, Rabbi Yoni.
Thank you so much. Thanks very much for joining me on Around the Jewish World in 613 Seconds, where we're getting the opportunity to meet Jewish communities all over the world. This evening, we are off to Dubai, which is 1,306 miles from Jerusalem. Now, tell me, what's it like for you two Jewish guys and a Jewish community living in United Arab Emirates? What's it like for Jewish people over there?
Well, I like to say, Yoni, I think it's one of the best places for Jews in the world. We feel safe. Our community is celebrated. There is a kind of pluralism and a tolerance for religious diversity and a respect for it, which I think is unusual. And we're here because we love it here.
How many Jews are there living in the UAE?
We're in the hundreds. It's difficult to give you a precise number. We're a small community, but we're growing. And I think our significance is way out of proportion to our numbers.
I can hear your accents. I can hear you're from Belgium, and Ross, you're from South Africa. Is presumably all the population is made up from people from overseas who've come to live there? And what's the main reason people are moving to Dubai?
So most of the people are coming here to Dubai for business reasons, obviously. It's a very diverse community. You have people that are lawyers, doctors, businessmen. I must say, you know, it's a little bit, I mean, I'm coming from Antwerp. Antwerp and London is a little bit similar. You go to shul, you see your friends, you know, they're all from the same background. Most of them are from the same school. In Antwerp, I would say even most of them are in the same industry, all diamond dealers. Over here, you are sitting Shabbat, you're coming to shul, you have people from South Africa, you have people from England, you have people from all over the world, you have Sfaradim, Ashkenazim, you have Reformed Jews, Orthodox Jews, Hasidic Jews, and everybody is sitting together and praying together. It's just simply amazing, you know?
I can see the view behind you is certainly nicer than London, and I'm sure the weather is amazing, and there must be a lot of perks living in Dubai. Tell us, what's the best thing about living in Dubai?
I think the best thing about living in Dubai is actually living in a society that is really multicultural. I mean, you are sitting around with people from all over the world. You are meeting people from everywhere. It's a nice place. It's a safe place. You can leave your apartment open. You can leave your car open. Nobody's gonna rob you. You know that you are safe. You feel safe. And basically, you know, as a Jew, I must say, when I came here in 2014, everybody thought I'm crazy. I'm going to Ramallah. I'm going to live in Ramallah. Believe me, I'm not living in Ramallah. I'm living in a city like that is more safe than London, New York, and Paris, and Geneva, and Brussels, and Antwerp.
It's very interesting you say that, because I'm sure people watching this will hear, you know, an Arab country, Dubai, anti-Semitism, anti-Israel. Is there a problem if you have an Israeli passport coming into Dubai? Is there any anti-Semitism, Ross?
No, there's no instance that I'm aware of anti-Semitism, and I try to monitor that quite carefully as president of the community. So anecdotally and in terms of reports, for example, that are done by the US State Department, I'm not aware of instances of anti-Semitism, and it's certainly not something we experience. There's no problem at all having Israeli stamps in your passport or even visas. But at the moment, the reality is that the UAE doesn't have a formal relationship with Israel. So people bearing an Israeli passport are not able to enter Dubai. Although it's hoped that for the Expo event that is coming soon, Israelis will be able to visit the Israeli pavilion, which will feature among all the other countries that will participate in Expo.
So that will be a major game changer. I know my uncle came to Dubai. He was the Chazan in your community a couple of years ago for the High Holy Days. What's your synagogue like? How many people do you get on a Shabbat morning? What's Jewish life like in Dubai? Are there children? Do you have education systems? Tell us a little bit about Jewish life.
People that live here are edgy and kind of adventurous Jews. which I love personally. We're a very mixed community, as Alex mentioned, with so many people, so many different Masoras. We have a Nusach from so many different places. Our Shabbat mornings, we've had a regular minyan now, Shabbat minyan, for many years. We have a famous iconic place we call the Villa, which is where we daven. We have 3 Sifrei Torah, believe it or not. It's a lovely mansion, but it's also got a wonderful Hamish feel. Alex is our wonderful chazan. We are very, very spoiled to have him. And we have a beautiful davening among brothers and comrades, and we know each other and we know each other's children. And there's something really, really beautiful about it. And people that wouldn't dream of going to shul in London or Paris or Antwerp or New York are finding themselves coming regularly to our place, because it's the one place where you really can, you know, be Jewish in a beautiful way among your brothers and sisters, and people just really love and enjoy it.
I would say it feels a little bit like St. John's Wood without Rabbi Mendel Cohen and yourself, but for the rest, it's more or less. For the rest, it's more or less the same.
And without the stained glass windows either, but for the rest,
you have children running around. I must say that most probably we have the most famous chunt of the Middle East, excluding Israel, of course. It's a regular Shabbat atmosphere. With a big difference is that, you know, that it's a big mixture of cultures, a big mixture of affiliations, and people are together, and you know, it's real achdus.
I'll tell you a story. I went back to daven in my home shul in Johannesburg, which is a beautiful kehillah, which I really, really love. And we're Ashkenazi Jews, we're Litvak Jews. And at the end of davening the Amidah, my rabbi came to me and he said, "Ross, don't you enjoy davening with people that are just like you and daven just like you?" And I thought to myself, and I didn't say it to him, but I thought, you know, Rabbi, I actually don't. I love davening in a place where there's Alex from Antwerp and Ben from New York and Yoni from Brazil. This is what I love. And
David Yosef from Monsey.
Exactly. We've come to love it.
But tell me something. You talk about it being similar to St. John's Wood, where you've got to have a cracking kiddush. Where do you get your kosher food from? How do people function in terms of shechita, kosher slaughter, milk, meat? Tell me about Jewish kosher food in Dubai.
So I must tell you, we have a great Ross's wife Ellie. She has a place that is called Ellie Kosher Kitchen. She is under supervision of our chief rabbi, who is Rabbi Sarna, who is the rabbi of NYU, under his ashgacha. She has all kinds of foods. She's cooking amazingly. The only thing that she doesn't do for the moment, and she's going to start with that also, is meat. So mostly it's parve or fish. But you know, we are basically not missing anything.
Jews in Dubai generally, if they're keeping kosher, they're not eating meat.
Yes, for a very long time we've been parve. I think there's various ways in which meat is brought in, and increasingly I think there are many efforts have been made to do that, which are very appreciated. The other thing I want to say, Rabbi Yoni, as well, which is very interesting, is that it's a marvel of the modern food industry that a lot of food just happens to be kosher. And the first thing that my wife and I did when we came to Dubai to check out actually if we could live here as observant Jews, as observant Orthodox Jews, was to go to the supermarkets and see if we could find kosher food. And we have a Waitrose and a Spinney and so many places that are full of kosher products that in fact you can get most things. You can't get everything, but it's really possible to live a fully kosher life here, which my wife and I have done right from the word go.
And tell me something, in terms of education for Jewish children, is there any infrastructure?
So what my children do, and it's something that we're working on as a community, is my children are part of something called the Jewish Online School, which is a wonderful virtual school that Chabad established for its shluchim all around the world.
Right.
And the first thing I did when I got into town, when we were still living in a hotel, is I enrolled my children in the school, and they've been there ever since very successfully. My son is 12. He's preparing, please God, to do the laning on Shabbat Toldot this November. So he's also got a teacher in Johannesburg who's helping him with his laning. And the intention is to establish and attract teachers to Dubai and establish some kind of formal school here. And that is something that we're working on very hard.
Can I tell you something, Yanni? Come over here 2 years, you're going to have a Talmud Torah, you're going to have a school, you're going to have a mikveh, you're going to have everything. The way that we have been developing is amazing. It's very exciting. The first Jew that I met in Dubai was Ross and his wife. I arrived here on a Thursday evening, and Friday evening I was sitting on his table having Shabbat. I must say that I was very concerned to come in a not only in a physical desert but also in a spiritual desert. And you know, we started to pray together, him and me, and 2 became 3, and 3 became 4, and 1 Sefer Torah, and 2 Sifrei Torah. And you know, today every Shabbat we have our minyan. The Chagim are nice. We're having our own sukkah on Sukkot. We're having events on Chanukah, on Purim, and you know, and this is only a beginning.
It's amazing, you know, looking at the picture behind you, Alex, the skyline of Dubai, compare it to 20 years ago, the place has exploded and it's just really become a center. So please God, 20 years from now, do you think Dubai will also be a Jewish center as well?
I am 100% convinced that it will be. Local language is Arabic, but you have to know that, you know, the local people over here, the Emiratis, they make only 15% of the population. So if you get in a taxi and you want to drive somewhere and you talk to him in Arabic, most probably he will not understand you. Wow. So, you know, everybody is speaking English everywhere. You don't need to speak Arabic in order to function over here. And of course, it would be nice that people speak the language. And but this is, you don't have any language barrier over here. I must tell you, Yoni, your uncle, when he came here the first time for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, he came here, his wife also told him, are you crazy? Are you going to go to Dubai? It's not dangerous. Ask him today, you know, it's one of the nicest places that he has been, and he loves to come over here.
Amazing. Yeah, he's a Hasidic Jew, so he thought he'd look incognito and put on a baseball cap and it would all be okay. But he told me they were very welcoming and he had the most amazing time. In one sentence, what does it mean to you to be a Jew? How would you answer that sentence?
So you start with Ross.
Yeah.
You know, I've lived in Dubai for 7 years. And I want to say that whether you put me on the moon or Jupiter, I'm going to be a Jew. It's something that I carry with me wherever I go, and I breathe it in every cell of my body, and that's what it is to be a Jew.
I think that this is something that I have in common with Ross. You know, people hear from me that I'm Jewish before they hear my name or they hear my nationality. But I must tell you something that will sound maybe very, very, very strange. Believe me, it's much easier to be a Jew in Dubai than to be a Jew in Europe. And especially to be a Jew in Israel. Because over here, we feel automatically attracted to one to each other because we are living in a Muslim country. In London, you know, you can be Jewish and not come to shul. In Israel, for sure, you know, why should you come to shul? You are Jewish. You go to the beach on Shabbat and you feel 100% Jewish. Over here, we have people coming to shul that in their home country, they would never dream to go to shul. And we have people that are 45 years old and they tell me, you know what, since my bar mitzvah, I didn't enter in the shul, and they continue to come every Shabbat.
Wow. I look forward to coming and visit you. Just to conclude, there'll be a lot of people all over the world watching this. Do you have a message or a blessing to world Jewry? Ross, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think my blessing is for Jews to feel that the Arabic world, the Muslim world, is not a place, doesn't have to be a place of hostility. That historically, Jews have lived very, very successfully by and large in Muslim countries. And we're so excited to be emerging as a Jewish community again in a Muslim country. And I think our presence here is fundamentally hopeful. And I guess our prayer is for one of peacefulness, one of harmony, and one of the restoring a deep sense of our great traditions and how they bring us together with other people.
I will tell them something very strange. I will tell them L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. And that's not Dubai, but you know, unfortunately, we are not all in Yerushalayim. And beside Yerushalayim, if you're already out of Israel, believe me, being here is not bad at all, and it's getting better and better. And you know, we serve the Jewish community over here, but we serve also the Jews from around the world. So don't hesitate to come. You will have kosher food. You will have a place where to pray. And you have all the infrastructure, and you're mostly welcome, and we are all waiting for you. And maybe, you know, next year for the expo would be the moment to come and to spend some time in Dubai.
Amazing. Well, guys, thank you so much. This has been a real pleasure, and enjoy. And thanks so much for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Rabbi. Great to chat.